Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Welcome to Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studio here in Colombo. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
I'm Chaturanga Hapuarachi. Let's take a look at the headlines.
President issues sharp words in a bid to create a clean political system. Joint opposition Somavira Chandrasiri and Nimal Premavansa pledge allegiance to the president. Sugarcane farmers in deeper crisis over falling prices. Sri Lankan students defrauded over higher education opportunities in Malaysia.
Welcome to the Newsfirst Centre. I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara. Now, once the Yahapalana government came in, there was a lot of focus on the economy of this country. With the bond scam taking place, there was focus on the economy. With the IMF extended fund facilities coming in, there was focus on the economy. And tonight we are going to discuss the economy. I have with me Chaita Fernando, our Chief Business Correspondent. Good evening, Chaita.
Good evening, Ramesh.
Now, there was a media briefing held at the Central Bank today.
Yes,
what were the key takeaways with regard to the economy?
Okay, so the press briefing was held to announce the 8th monetary policy review for this year, the last one. So the Monetary Board has decided not to change the policy rate, so it's unchanged. And some of the factors that they consider to keep it as it is the lower economic growth recorded in the third quarter of 2017 as compared to the second quarter. So the economy has grown by 3.3% in the third quarter compared to the 4% recorded in the second quarter. And also inflation has eased a bit in November, so that's a good sign. And they expect that inflation will lower further towards...
So things are looking good?
That's what the central bank says. They seem to be confident that the inflation rate will go down further in next year. And also private credit growth, which was a major concern, is also slowing down. So that's also a good sign. And export earnings is surging. So these are the key factors that they considered in deciding the policy rate.
Now let's take a look at what the central bank had to say about the policy interest rates, and then let's get back to our discussion.
Seeing interest rates coming down, though the central bank has not adjusted the policy rate since March of this year, we have seen a significant reduction in market interest rates, which going forward clearly will be growth positive.
Now, with the 2017 budget, with the 2018 budget and Vision 2025 coming into place, there were targets that were set by the central bank and by the government. What did the central bank have to say about these targets?
Yeah, mainly they expected the economy to grow by 4.5% or at least around 4%. But right now, during the first 9 months of 2017, the economic growth rate is 3.7%. So we haven't been able to achieve that target. There's another interesting factor that the governor spoke about, which is the calculation of these numbers by the Census and Statistics Department. So according to the central bank, they don't have the resources to do a comprehensive survey. They need more data to come up with a proper, comprehensive, accurate statistics to gauge the growth of the economy.
Now, if I'm correct, both the central bank and the Census and Statistics Bureau come under the Prime Minister, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. But the problem is, according to the central bank governor, they don't have the necessary resources to go out there and do the kind of surveys that are needed to come up with more accurate figures.
Now, there have been concerns about financial institutions, with several prominent politicians making statements about it. Did the central bank have anything to say about that as well?
Yes, in fact, the governor was responding to a media report about a finance company which was shut down, or their license was cancelled. So the media report was following a press conference yesterday by depositors saying that the company was shut down because the central bank failed in their regulation aspect. So the tone of the central bank governor was, he sounded very disappointing about the article, but his tone was very firm. I think we can listen to the voice cut now.
Let's listen to what the central bank had to say about the CIFL and get back to our discussion.
I'm reacting very badly, to be honest, because it's an extremely unfortunate story. Let me say on the accounting. The central bank conducted a forensic account, which is what has been called for, way back in September 2013. And the findings of that forensic account have been shared with the Attorney General's Department and the CID. So I don't know who in the central bank is trying to hide things. So the forensics department, let me repeat, forensic audit done in September 2013. Findings shared with the AG's department and the CID. So nobody is trying to hide anything. Not only that, there was a letter, they're saying that there were people who were guilty of all kinds of misdemeanors and the central bank has done nothing about that. There was a letter sent to the Attorney General's Department requesting legal action to be taken against errant parties on the 16th of April 2014. Several letters have been written to the AG's department since then. 4 letters have been sent to the CID, the first one in December 2012. Okay? Now, a case has been filed against one party, which has been mentioned in that news report. In fact, on the basis of the central bank's information, the CID issued a red notice, an Interpol red notice, and that person was brought back to Sri Lanka and he was arrested. But the courts have given him bail. So, I don't know what else the central bank could have done.
Over the course of 2016, there have been many discussions that have been centered around the central bank. Now, one of those discussions was regarding online payment platforms. Chaita, was there any mention about online payment platforms today? Because this is something that we need.
Yes, there was. The governor said that in the past 2-3 years, there hasn't been proper coordination between ICTA and the central bank on developing a payment platform. And the deputy governor also mentioned that there were gaps in the proposal sent by ICTA. So as of the current situation, they are awaiting a report from ICTA in the next couple of weeks, next 2 weeks, following which they will decide how to progress in this regard.
I believe we have comments made by the central bank on online payment platforms as well.
It's at the central bank, and we have several rounds of discussions with the team of the ICTA officials. And unfortunately, last few years we haven't seen that coordination between the two entities. Because I have to keep in mind that the central bank is the regulator of the payment and settlement of the country. We have the responsibility of maintaining the smooth process, the smooth operation in the payment and settlement of the country. So in this regard, so then we had a meeting with the ICTA officials, and we have seen some gaps of their operations and the working arrangement, and we set up a committee representing the central bank officials, FIB officials, the Lanka Pay officials, as well as the ICTA officials, and headed by one of the deputy director in the central bank, and requested to that committee to submit their report within another 2 weeks' time. So once the report is submitted, so then we can see how we can work with the ICTA, especially with regards to this payment platform.
Well, that's it from the Newsfirst Center for now. It's time for a short commercial break.
Addressing an event in Colombo today, President Maithripala Sirisena spoke about the commitment for a clean political system.
There are only 7 local government bodies in the Polonnaruwa district, and 4 out of the 7 chairpersons of these local government bodies cannot contest the upcoming election because they have been found guilty in court for corruption. As a country, you are all aware of how many people are in such a situation. This shows a precedent we have set back then. So it is essential that we set a proper precedent rather than talk. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, "My sword does not know who it cuts, may it be my relatives, friends or close associates, but it can cut anyone." Similarly, all I have to say is that it does not matter what party or color you are from, or if you are my relative. My sword may have to cut people out for the sake of a clean political movement. This is for the future of our nation. The United People's Freedom Alliance's policy and vision for the local government election was unveiled at an event held at the BMICH under the auspices of the President. 31 political parties, including the Ceylon Workers' Congress, Elam People's Democratic Party, United Left Front, Sri Lanka Labour Party, Podu Perumana, National Congress, Navasihala Urumaya and National Unity Alliance have joined forces with the UPFA. Party representatives made a pledge that it would commit to protect election laws and secure victory at the upcoming local government election.
Speaking at a public rally in Devinora, JVP parliamentarian Sunil Honda Nettie shared these views.
Whenever a lorry transporting cattle is caught, a brothel is raided, drugs are seized, elephant tusks are cut off, or an elephant calf is stolen, there is always a Pradesh Sabha member or chairman who is involved. Who takes the first bribe to make these politicians rogues? It is you, the voter. Now you're waiting as if Santa Claus is coming. You give only if you get something. They also know that they have to give something to get. They are collecting roofing sheets, cement bags, flower pots and clothes. They collect at least a matchbox to give out. Shameful, isn't it? Don't forget, they take truckloads to distribute what they give out. We only get once a year, but they take from us for 5 years. They don't make a loss. This has become a business. Contesting elections has today become a big business, and they don't even have to work for people, and even when we ask why, they say, I gave before I took.
As the country prepares for another election, party crisis and crossovers have once again returned to the limelight.
The vice chairman of the Sri Lanka Mahajan party and joint opposition activist Somavira Chandasiri pledged his support to President Maithripala Sirisena today. Thereafter, he accompanied the president to attend a UPFA event. After contesting as the common candidate and being elected president, he took measures against fraud and corruption. The Bond Commission has revealed the true actions of the UNP. According to what has been revealed through the Commission, measures are also underway to file legal cases against them. What more are we waiting for? Politburo member and Deputy Secretary of the National Freedom Front, Nimal Premawansa, also met with the President today. A person who was primarily responsible for the defeat of Mahinda Rajapaksa fled the country and later returned, stole away the strength we established in Nugegoda. Bimal Veerawansa is helpless there now. What is Basil Rajapaksa doing? Former Minister Basil Rajapaksa is the main person who deprived the people of the opportunity of defeating the United National Party. He wants to bring in a UNP government by 2020. Some think it is okay if Ranil wins in 2020. Some of the princes are under the impression that they could become president afterward. If Ranil Wickremesinghe wins in 2020, 5 years later, there won't be anything left. Meanwhile, several local government leaders representing various political parties met and pledged their support to the president. Addressing a media briefing today, Nimal Lanza, who recently stepped down as Deputy Minister, announced that he would support the Podujana Peramuna. Over the past 2 years and 4 months, I served as the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs and an MP representing the government. When we joined the national government 2 years ago, they said we could accomplish a lot for the people. If the two parties joined forces, we could achieve reconciliation as well. We had high hopes. However, I do not think we have been able to achieve anything. The people were under a great deal of pressure. What happened to Lanza is the same thing that happened to the fox. We all know the story of the fox. He leaped, and when he couldn't reach, he said, "These grapes are bitter," and just left. Similarly, Nimal Lanza joined Maithripala Sirisena and realized he cannot do what he usually does. Now he is crossing over, saying it is not working out there. Lanza cannot do what he wants with President Maithripala Sirisena. But he can with Mahinda, and that is where he has gone to. We are well aware of the past activities when the police and the STF were in the house of a suspect with a warrant and they were searching for illegal substances. A head of state took a helicopter ride to that suspect's house in order to stop the search and console the suspect. The leader was Mahinda Rajapaksa. Who did he console? It was Nimal Lanza.
Time now for a short commercial break. Former Minister Vavi Karunanayake, who resigned from office over allegations related to the central bank bond scam, in an interview with the Daily Mirror, has spoken about the Central Bank of Sri Lanka.
Former Minister Ravi Karunanayake says the economic downfall in the country was caused by the corruption of the central bank and not by the poor performance of the government. He says the monetary policy left in these so-called economic pundits is basically running down.
I think it's good that he is making this statement outside the parliament, because we are at liberty to, as citizens of this country, with freedom of speech, to talk about it, because there is no impending danger coming from the parliamentary privileges for us to comment on it. As far as citizens of this country, voters are concerned, he is just another MP. But he has a record of very unwarranted interventions that during his period of time as the Minister of Finance, which has caused a lot of issues which are to date remaining to be made known clearly as to what exactly has happened. Therefore, in a situation like that, it is best that people like Mr. Ravi Karunanayake keep quiet without making such statements which we would say, to say the least, hilarious.
The former minister says that the central bank has autonomy, and he adds that, quote-unquote, the poor PM is also not kept informed of what goes on within the central bank. Former Minister Ravi Karunanayake says the central bank has run into a 2.1 billion rupee loss during this year.
If the Prime Minister, being the minister in charge of the central bank, is claimed to be unaware of what is happening in his own ministry in the central bank, and if, as Mr. Ravi Karunanayake claims, that he is not kept informed of, I think that doesn't absolve the Prime Minister from his responsibility for not playing the correct role as the minister in charge of the central bank. Is it the duty of a minister to wait till he is informed? So is he a passenger who is being pushed into things by the central bankers? Is that what we want from a minister in charge of the central bank of this country? I think Mr. Ravi Karunanayake, by his own statements, I should say rather silly and unmeasured statements, he is causing a lot of embarrassment to the Prime Minister, to the entire economy, and to the financial institution of this country, which is being looked up to by the whole world.
Former Minister Ravi Karunanayake goes on to say that there was a corrupt government that was there for 10 years, and that the country has paid 90 billion rupees because of the hedging deal. He says that the country should have ministers who are working and not talking.
These are matters falling within the administration of the government. Who controls the police? Who takes care of the Attorney General Department? And who is in charge of either instituting or instigating or initializing action against the perpetrators of wrongdoings in the past? I mean, these are matters that he is trying to confuse. In his confused state of affairs, he acts as a desperate person. This seems to be, these are statements coming out of a desperate mind.
I don't think the role of public servants is well understood in this country, particularly by the political class. I'm not mentioning anyone in particular. Public servants, our job is to serve the government of the day within the laws of the country. So the government set policies, and the officials are expected to implement them. They can advise them on policy as well. So whoever is in the central bank or any other government department will work with the government of the day. And when the government changes, I can tell you that in the 18 months I've been here, I could not have asked for better cooperation and support. So I don't know who is conniving with whom, but all I know is they're giving me extremely good advice and support.
Of the 253,453 students who sat for the GCE advanced level examination in August, 3 of them from the Mathura district were ranked first. These students arrived at the Newsfirst studios earlier this evening.
Dylan Sandunika from Sujata Vidyalaya Mathura was ranked first in the island in the biology stream.
And I really didn't expect to become the island first, though even that My friends and my teachers said that I'll become the district first. I worked really hard.
Parmi Hettiarachi from Mahinda Rajapaksa College, Mathura was ranked first in engineering technology.
This is the one of most goal I have in my life. Today I can reach that goal. Really, I'm so happy.
Dulani Rasantika, also from Sujata Vidyalaya, Mathura, was ranked first in the island in the commerce stream. Hirani Shakya of Devi Balika Vidyalaya, Colombo, was ranked first in the island in the general stream.
I didn't expect this result, but I trusted myself, so I achieved somehow. So actually, I'm really thankful for my parents and my all the teachers and my friends in this moment.
Sridharan Thuwaran from Harthi College Point, Pedro, was ranked first in the island in the physics stream. Venerable Padberi Mudavansathero from the Ratnapura Saddharma Lankara Pirivena was ranked first in the island in the arts stream. M.K. Lakshika Chaturanga of Sivali Central College, Ratnapura, was ranked first in the island in the biosystems technology.
163,104 students who sat for the GCE advanced level examination this year have gained entrance to universities. The results, 205 students have been suspended due to various irregularities. The Department of Examinations said the closing date for recorrections is the 15th of January 2018.
Meanwhile, over the past few days, Newsfirst has been making revelations regarding a private institution in Kolpiti which engages in a scam under the guise of providing higher education and job opportunities for students. Another group of students who had been cheated out of their money arrived at the Kolpiti police today to assist in the investigation to the complaint lodged by them.
Representatives of this particular company were requested to arrive at the police today to record statements. However, they did not appear before the police today.
We were asked to come in today, but no one from Cos Lanka turned up. We continue to be inconvenienced. There are politicians in this country, they are yet to react to this. There are a lot of children in Malaysia today who are suffering because they cannot return to the country.
A group of students who travelled to Malaysia through this particular company expressed these views to Newsfirst.
There are 5 of us in this room. One managed to return home. 8 people use this bathroom. We don't even have a shower. Cos Lanka took our money and never looked into anything. We paid 475,000 rupees. They said we will be able to study hotel management. They said we would receive a certificate and that we would be able to work in Malaysia or Sri Lanka. They didn't enroll us in a college. We cannot tell our parents because they sent us here with great joy. For about a month, we have had only 1 meal a day. Cos Lanka cheated us. They said we will receive on-the-job training. 2 months after we came here, we were out of work. A month later, when we get paid, half our salary goes to Cos Lanka and the agent. We get only half. It has been 5 months. We don't have a passport. They didn't give us an ID card. We can't even walk on the streets. We didn't receive an internship letter. There isn't even a college. Everything is fake. Cos Lanka has sent about 40 students. The National Youth Corps told us they have sent more than 200 students. When we came here, we realized everything was false.
When inquired, the Minister of Foreign Employment stated that they had received several complaints regarding the company in question. They stated that since the company in question deals with sending students abroad, it comes under the purview of the Minister of Higher Education.
If there is a fraud, then they should first lodge a complaint with the police of CID. There is no point in staring into the sky. There are some institutions which are good. We can even provide recommendations without any fear. However, there are companies that exploit students. So they should be careful when selecting institutions. No, we are not involved in it. They are private institutes and we have no involvement.
You heard what the Ministry of Foreign Employment had to say. You heard the views of the Minister of Higher Education. Now all we can say is this is not the advice that you should be giving. This is common sense. If some injustice is done to you, you go to the police, you lodge a complaint. It's not rocket science. We expect something more from our elected officials. We expect something more from our public officials. That is why we the people cast our vote and send these people to Parliament. Now, let's focus on this company in question. Let's take a look at what they have to say in their corporate website, and then we'll get on with this discussion. Now, it says that it provides vocational training programs and university programs. Now, let's take a look at the About Us page and their core values. I'm going to open it in this new tab. It says no false promises and no hidden charges. I'm not quite sure about the hidden charges part, but if what these students are saying is true, then you can come to your own assumptions about no false promises. Ethically responsible. Focus on the success of our students. Again, I refer you to the comments that were made by students who were speaking with Newsfirst from Malaysia. Maintain professional standards. Well, this is how they maintain professional standards. Unfortunately, it seems like there is no one to regulate this. It seems like they have stumbled upon the grey area right smack in the middle of higher education and foreign employment. It seems that they are taking use of this grey area. It's difficult to understand what they actually do, whether they provide educational services or whether they actually provide foreign employment. When we hear this story, what I am reminded of is of the labor rackets that are going on. I am reminded of the hardships that our mothers and sisters face when they travel to countries in the Middle East, where their passports are taken and they work for next to nothing. This is what I am reminded of. Regardless, the takeaway from the story is, if there is someone who offers you employment, be it full-time or part-time, any form of foreign employment, please go to the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment. Consult with them, get their advice before you make any payments, before you make any decisions with regard to foreign employment, be it full-time or part-time. And finally, we call on our ministers to stop passing the buck. We need you to pick it up and take action. Take action. That is what we, the people, appointed you to do. We, the people, appointed you to the legislature so that you can legislate. The legislators in this legislature are duty-bound to find these grey areas, to fill up these gaps, and to take action on these things. That is why we have put you there. If they don't do their jobs, then all I can ask is, what is the use? What is the point? I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara. It's back to the news studio.
Sugarcane farmers complain the authorities are yet to provide proper solutions to their issues. Sugarcane farmers in Sevenagala are staging a satyagraha citing 10 demands, including the increase of the price of 1 ton of sugarcane to 8,500 rupees, grant ownership of land to the farmers and fertilizer subsidies. The farmers who have been engaging in the satyagraha for 70 days now say none of their issues have been resolved. The government thinks the farmers will wrap this up and leave, but that will not happen. We are already prepared to grow other crops in place of sugarcane. These days, sugarcane farmers have sugarcane sticks at home, one with the mother and one with the father, so that we can treat people well when they come asking for votes.
The International Statistics Conference 2017 under the theme Statistics for Good Governance was held in Colombo this morning. The event, organized by the Institute of Applied Statistics Sri Lanka, was attended by Minister of Special Assignments Dr. Sarath Amunugama.
In all the textbooks, I would suggest that you add as one of the characteristics of lack of development, the inability to foster and use statistics in their development efforts. But decisions are made on impressions, gossip, backbiting, and personal interests. As a cabinet member, I don't think I am revealing many secrets if I say that statistics is not high on its agenda. It should be. I'm trying to be merciful and subtle. But that's the type of information that we should be getting. Governmental state sector hierarchy should have this latest information. Otherwise, it's a crime against the people of this country.
The Narochale coal power plant has failed in excessive 30 times since it was commissioned in 2011. The Ceylon Electricity Board incurs a daily loss of 200 million rupees when the Narochale coal power plant is not operational. These statistics may have helped Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugama when making the proposal to build 2 new coal power plants. Sri Lankan Airlines is looking at a 40.8 billion rupee loss. This statistic did not deter Minister Amunugama through the Cabinet Committee on Economic Management to instruct the lease agreement on 3 A330-200 aircraft be extended. Minister Amunugama, were these statistics high on the agenda during your decision-making process?
Well, that's all the news we have for you today. We leave you tonight with illustrated news by our resident cartoonist Asanka Ladua Hetty. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Saturanga Puarachi.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Good night.